Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing this morning? I hope everybody is doing okay so far. I know I was too busy doing some things that are not expected like I was yesterday, but, you know, because right now, here I am, just to, trying to stay home from this wet weather, and, because even though when they say when the weather gets too hot, you know we must stay home from the rain safely, so we don't want to get wet. Well, 1 year later, after Hurricane Beryl, because because the electricity went completely out, you know. But by the time I called one of my family and friends, and they said, and I asked them, have your electricity came out yet? And some of them didn't have the electricities yet, but one week later, the electricity came back on at my house, thankfully, and everything was back to normal, and I'm glad we don't have to do it again this year, because there is no way we can repeat this again, so thank God for that, so because so sadly, there were thousands of people's homes were completely destroyed. They don't have any they had no water, no food, no place to live. I know they, thousands of people decided to go stay at the shelter for the moment, because sometimes there, it's it was going to be too hard for them, to find a place to stay, but God has already, take care of the homeless people, even though they don't have no family, nor relatives to stay, so God is gonna provide a new home for the homeless people. All right, because thank you for everything that that I will not have to worry about this year, because we don't have anything to talk about, this year, because this year is just just a different story, because a little like over 15 years ago, because ever since since Hurricane Ike, man, it you know the trees were destroyed down by my house, and there were no lights until 4 days later until it came back on, you know. And and 9 years later, before Hurricane Harvey, ever since it started hitting, you can compare it to these hurricanes, but the at my old job, there was like the generator was out completely due to the power outages, so yeah, so thank God that God brought y'all back to the company where it's been restored lately, because but we didn't have anything like that so far, because as you can see, this weather is very cooperative. It's just a normal rain, because for the past month, like before I started my first official day of work, because I did not want to get out there, because I don't like to see myself getting wet like that, just remember, like, stay inside the building until the rain goes out completely. Don't wait until further expected to things start to come back, because over the next several days, I hope it doesn't bring too much rain, but even if it's a lower chance, yeah, we might use the rain to to get rid of the heat wave, so all right, so yeah, so just remember, man, thank you God, thank God for thank you for protecting me from this nasty weather, because me and my family did not want to go outside, and so my dog was too afraid, because she didn't want to come out here, because she was so scared. I cannot even tell why she didn't go, because she was too scared, to come out here, seeing things. It's like a twister or a whirlwind, you know. Okay. So, just thank God for, for protecting Emma, because, she stayed safely in her closet, so I'm glad she's all right, she's not too, she doesn't expect it to be like hurt or anything like that, so I'm really glad things are finally back to normal for this summer, okay. All right, guys. I just want to give y'all a special message. Compared to what happened years ago. You know, during a tragic situation here. I just want to send y'all a special message to everybody around the world. Who lost all their homes. Especially in my family in Central America, they don't have any, no place to stay, because millions of homes were destroyed too, so we're not, we just gotta, we gotta make sure that you need to stay away from tornadoes, the rain, things like that. Okay, so yeah. All right, guys. I just want to, I'm just gonna, end this video for today, and thank you very much for everything, because I hope it doesn't go. Hope it doesn't come back, and let's continue this journey. Oh, okay. So, yeah. Thank you all. I hope you'll have a blessed day, and be safe out there on the roads.